Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. First of all, I want to start by appreciating you all for watching my videos, for liking and for subscribing to my channel. God bless you. So guys, let's transform this beautiful client together. Let's begin by cleaning her face using the micellar water. If you don't have any micellar water, you can use even a face wipe. The purpose is to remove any hidden dirt from your face, to get your face ready. The next thing to do after cleaning the face is to hydrate the face. So for this look, I'll be going in with two moisturizer, starting with the Moist Essence moisturizer from Blossom Makeup and the Mismetic moisturizer. I like the Moist Essence moisturizer because it's very nice and it's affordable too. After applying my moisturizer, I'll be going in with my primer. So for primer, I'll be using the Aqua Grip Mismetic primer. Please, when doing your face prep, after applying every product, let it to sit for a while. Use your fan to dry it up. Actually, my fan got bad, so I actually dried up, but not using the smaller fan. I had a big fan sitting directly in front of the client. So after applying the product, I just turn it up for the product to dry up before going to the next. For foundation, I'll be using two shades of foundation, that's from Avon and Adventure. So I mix everything to get the required skin tone. So after doing that, I now use my soft and damp beauty sponge. When you say soft and damp, it means it should be wet, but when you squeeze it, water should not come out from it. So you just use it to tap into the skin gently. Do not apply too much pressure when blending your foundation. Just tap gently into the skin. The next thing to do after applying your foundation is to contour the face. So these are the areas we contour. We contour underneath the cheekbone, around the temple, we contour the side of the nose. So for your contour, always you can use a foundation which is 2 shades darker than the skin tone, or a foundation which is 1 shade darker. That should be the base, that should be the principle of contouring. Moving on, I'll be applying the blush next. So for blush, I use my orange shade from my lip palette to apply around the cheek. So after doing that, I use the same damp beauty sponge I use in blending my foundation and my contour to just blend in the blush. So moving on, I'll be going in with my Ava concealer in the shade A40 to conceal her face. So highlight her face, So when highlighting, we highlight around the T-zone, that's under the eye and the chin, the nose, the forehead. So when you're doing so, the principle of highlighting is that you should use a highlighter, a concealer, which is like 1 to 2 shades lighter than your foundation. Meanwhile, for contouring, we are using a foundation which is 1 to 2 shades darker than our foundation. So that is it. So we blend everything. I started blending from the outer corner, moving towards the inner corner. So when blending, make sure you place your beauty sponge in such a way that as you are blending, it's getting rid of, taking care of any demarcation. That is the point separating the blush and the concealer. So moving forward, I'll be contouring the side of her nose. To do so, I use the same shade I use in contouring the cheekbone and the temple. So I just applied around the side of her nose, beginning from the brows. We're contouring the nose to make it look smaller, sharper and pointed. So after doing so, I now use the side of my beauty sponge to just blend gently and also to make it smooth. And after doing that, I use the other side of my beauty sponge to just tap in gently to make sure there is no harsh line. And then I now went with my Kiss Beauty Fix Spray to seal everything and mix everything up. So the next thing to do is to set the face. To set the highlighted area, use a setting powder, which is the same shade like the concealer you use in highlighting the under eye, the T-zone. So for this look, I'll be using the Merak setting powder in the shade Ginger to just set all the highlighted area. So when you're done setting the highlighted area, the next thing to do is to set the blank spaces, that is the rest of her face. So to do so, I'll be using my powder from my Beauty powder palette, which is exact shade like her skin tone. So I just use that with my big fluffy brush, to set the rest of her face. So I just use the big fluffy brush to press in the product gently. So when you're setting the face, you don't use the brush to scrub, just pat gently into the skin. So after setting the rest of the face, the next thing to do is to contour all the areas we previously contoured. So for this I will still use the same Beauty palette, use a shade which is 1 to 2 shade, which is 2 shade darker than her skin tone, to contour around the side of her nose, the temple, underneath the cheekbone. So those are the areas we contour. So I use my small brush to do so. After that, I use now my big fluffy brush to blend in everything. So when you're done with that, now use a Kiss Beauty Fix Spray to just fix everything and set everything up. So make sure you shake very well before using. So moving forward, the next thing to do is to bake the face and do reverse contour. So reverse contour helps to bring out the contour. So when baking, I use my same merak setting powder in this shade Ginger to just apply around the side of her nose, under her eyes. So I just kept excess there so that when doing the eyeshadow, the excess eyeshadow fallout can be easily taken out. So to do the reverse contour, I used my shade from my Beauty powder palette, which is 1 shade lighter than her skin. So can you see what the reverse contour does? When you apply it like that, it brings out the contour. At this point, you can now see the contour very well. So for the brows, I'll first begin by laying down the hair using the brow steamer from Nikki's Signature and a brush. So you start by brushing the hair at the beginning upward, and from the middle you try to slant it, let it look like the way the way the natural hair on the brows look like, right? It's not just standing straight, like it's kind of slanted. Yeah, that's what we want to do. So you just brush. The essence of this is just to make the hair to be in order, because there are some people whose hair are hanging, like they have stubborn hair, so to make it be in order. So after doing so, go in with the setting powder to absorb any moisture and dust off the excess setting powder. So for the brows, we begin by outlining the brows. To begin, we use the flat angle brush like I illustrated earlier, and a brows gel. So we use the brown shade of the brows gel in the shade 02. That's the specific one I use is KR, that's Karitte brows gel, to outline the brows. So when putting your outline, make sure you try to reduce the size so that you not have to conceal too much to get the desired shape. So start outlining from the beginning. When you are getting towards the end, you just try to tilt down a little bit. You do the same for the top. When you are trying to reach the end, you tilt down a bit, and then you try to link the 2 points together. So at this point, I was just trying to use the excess brow gel on my angle brush to just produce like hair-like stroke in a slanting manner. Yeah, so that's what I was trying to do. So moving forward, I'll be filling in the gap. So to do so, I use a well-sharpened Davis pencil. You could use any pencil of your choice. I just like Davis pencil because it's good, it doesn't break a lot, so it should be well sharpened. So when you're filling it, try to produce tiny hair-like stroke Like it should be really tiny to fill in the gap. So you're just filling the area with less hair. You use tiny hair like stroke so that it can look natural. And when you're doing for the beginning, avoid making the stroke too crowded. So at this point, light went off. So I did not stop. I just continued doing what I was doing until the light came back. That's Africa for us. I don't know if it's village people. Ever since I started shooting video for YouTube, like I cannot shoot a single video without light, without electricity disturbing. I mean, anyways, moving forward to conceal the brows. So what I use a small precise angle brush. I use an angle brush which is flat. That means the tips of the angle brush should be flat. So to conceal, I always use my foundation and a concealer. I use the foundation for the beginning because foundation is quite easy to blend. So I start by using a darker shade of foundation, or if you're using a concealer, a darker shade of concealer for the beginning, and then you now use a lighter shade for the ending. So when you're done with that, you now use a small fluffy brush to blend in the excess concealer in order to make everything smooth and appealing. So when you are done with that, you have to cover it up. I mean, you can't leave that area looking moist. So when you are done, for the beginning, the same area, use a darker concealer or a darker foundation. You just go in from your powder palette, use the same shade, which is like the shade you use for the beginning. You just apply the powder for the beginning, the darker shade, and for the end, from the middle to the end, you use a lighter shade still from the powder palette. Okay, moving forward, for eyeshadow, I'll be going in with my eyeshadow base from Blossom Makeup. So apply the essence of eyeshadow base is for your eyeshadow to be able to stick and last longer, because you just take an empty eyeshadow and just place on your eyelid without putting the eyeshadow base. The eyeshadow is not really going to be pigmented, or it's not really going to stick and so on. So after applying the eyeshadow base, I use my small fluffy brush to blend in everything, and when blending, make sure you blend the edges so that when you put the eyeshadow, there will be no demarcation. And for the eyeshadow, when I was done blending for the eyeshadow, I went in with this like orange shade. It's looking kind of orange, yeah, orange shade. I just place it on the eyelid around the eye where the eyeball lies. So I just place it there using my small fluffy brush. So I was just tapping in gently on it. You're just tapping. You're not supposed to scrub like you are scrubbing. Just tap in gently. You're patting. Just pat gently on it. So to blend the edges, I went in with this brown shade from Gorgeous Me eyeshadow palette. This eyeshadow palette is nice and it's really cheap and affordable. And so I started blending from the inner corner, moving towards the outer corner, using a small, precise, fluffy brush, a small brush, because we don't want to distribute the product all over. So we're using just a small brush which is precise. So we are blending just from around the edges of that orange shade, moving from the outer corner to the inner corner, outer corner, inner corner. That's how the blending went. So to line the waterline, I used my flat angle brush and the black brows gel, like from the same KR Cosmetic, to line the waterline. So that's what I did. It comes with it comes in two shades, that's the black and brown. So I use my brown to always like outline the brows and to line the lips. Then I use the black to line the under eye and to wing the eyes. So when you're done, the next thing to do is to press in and dust off the excess powder which you use for reverse contour. So in doing so, we'll be using the big fluffy brush to blend in. To blend in the excess setting powder under the eyes, use a small brush which is precise. So just start by tapping gently, moving from the outer corner towards the inner corner. So when you're getting towards the inner corner, as the brush is a bit bigger, you can get now a small fluffy brush, which is smaller than what you use to just blend in under the eye and around the nose. So for blush, I'll be going in with this orange shade from the Exclusive blush palette. So apply it around the cheek to give it some warmness and color. I don't know why, when on physical the blush is okay, but looking at it now, it look kind of like it's not enough, like it's not even visible. So after doing so, I use my Kiss Beauty setting spray to set and fix everything up, and then I let it dry. So after applying every product, like after setting, use your fan to dry it up. So for the lips, I used two shades. I started by lining the lips using the darker shade of lip gloss from KB. After outlining, I used my small fluffy brush to blend in the edges because I don't want any demarcation or harsh line when I apply the second color. So to apply the nude color, I just place the lip gloss on my fluffy brush and I just blend in gently on the lip. So when I was done with that, I went further to line the lips again using a small lip liner from VBT. It's kind of like oxblood color or oxblood shade. Yeah. So for lip gloss, I'll be going in with the clear lip gloss to give it that you want the lip to like pop. Yeah, you just want it to be popping. On the list, the second to the last thing to do is application of lip glue, the highlighter, the bronze. So you apply that directly above the blush using a small fluffy brush, one that glue. So the product I use is from Blossom Makeup. So just apply to glue that glue. Yeah. So you apply it above the blush, on the nose, the chin, and touch up a little bit on the forehead. And finally, to lock the makeup to see everything, you can use a sealant, the soap or sealant spray. There are a lot of lock-in spray. You have soap, you have all nighter, you have stay on, and so on. So apply it, let it dry. So I wasn't cool with that eyeshadow, so I decided to add in this glitter. So the glitter already contained glue, so there was no need for me to place glitter glue on it. So I just used my fluffy brush to pick up the glitter. So guys, this is the end of the video. This is a finished look. What do you think? See us get fine. I'm too sure.